friends, Jamie here. Welcome to Satellite Stories, where we interview those who have encountered Jesus through video games and nerd culture. We're a part of the LTN Podcast Network, and today we're going to hear another story. All right, let's see if we can get this right this time. Ernandes, my friend from Brazil, how are you today, buddy?
Yeah, I'm doing very good. And you, my brother?
Good. Oh, dude, I'm doing good. I'm doing good, man. I always get excited when you and I hang out. Sometimes we'll hang out like 3 times in 1 week, and then sometimes it will be like 2 months before we see each other again. So it's good to chill with you today. Hey, so I told you a little bit about what our podcast is all about. I know that, man, you've got some incredible stories that you're going to bring to the table today. And you're just a guy that I love being around. I love spending time with you doing gaming ministry. But before we get into like a story, tell us about you, man. So I said you're from Brazil. Where exactly in Brazil are you?
Yeah, I'm living in a city called Anápolis. It's near to the Brasilia. It's more people are more familiar to Brasilia because it's the capital, you know. So yeah, it's in the center of Brazil. So no beach, no. I mean, it's just a very dry and hot place in Brazil.
It's not like when you watch like kids cartoons and you see Brazil. It's not like what you're used to seeing, you know. Or do you guys have like the cool tropical trees and stuff?
I mean, here it's like more like desert.
Okay. Yeah.
Just small trees and yeah.
That's cool. Well, so you're from Anápolis? Is that how you say it? Am I saying it right?
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, Anápolis.
Great.
It's perfect.
So you and I've never been there, but you and I, we got the opportunity to meet in Sao Paulo, right? That's where we hung out?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't want to tell everybody what we did. What did we do in Sao Paulo? I want to hear it from you, man. How did we meet? What was that like?
São Paulo, we had the incredible opportunity to watch the VCT lock-in. It's a championship, Valorant championship. So what's
amazing? I have
amazing?
this right here on my desk.
Oh yeah, and Jamie just know how the Brazilian people are crazy to cheer for the teams, and the guy just saying "Laudi." It's not loud; it's Laudi in Brazil.
So the team, the Brazilian team, it's LOUD. And so we say loud, and everyone is like emphasizing the D. Loud. I'm like, what are you saying?
Yeah. This is our Brazilian accent. This is one thing of us. So what's incredible opportunity to share the stories with some people, but also it's like a study. You know, we are just seeing what kind of things you can do in a place like that, to maybe do outreach in a good way in one day. So we are just trying to see the place, the people, the opportunities, and also to see the game.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Of course, to watch Valorant, right? But like we were sent there to check it out like it's a major sporting event, right? There's like 12,000 people, I think, right? That it could, like the biggest day, wasn't it? Like 10 to 12,000. And we were there for the whole thing. We were almost the entire thing. And oh my goodness, there was so many opportunities and things we could think through. And I'm sure if and when someday we do it again, we will apply what we learned. And I think there's some really cool things that could happen just in ways of serving people in that space. Yeah.
Yeah. Because also we had a lot of people playing. I know. I mean, in all the world of the people are playing video games, but exceptly I'm talking about Brazil. Brazil, it's very interested in games. We have more than 7% of people involved in gaming in some level.
Are you saying 70, like 70?
Yeah,
wow.
70.
Okay. Yeah,
7.
Yeah. And that's
the researchers just say 74. Yeah, all ages.
74. Yeah. That's crazy. There's some, like, for a while, there were some stats floating around the US. It was like 76% of all youth, so like under 18, would consider gaming as part of their identity. But in Brazil, it's like 74% of like all people. That's like grandma, grandpa, that's mom, dad, that's everybody, right?
Yeah.
It looks different, but
I don't know if you ever played a game called Tibia. It's a very old game. It's like pixel art gaming RPG. Okay. It's one of the first like MMO RPGs, and I think was 1999, something like that. So there was a grandma. It's called Vovó Tibiana. It's like Grandma Tibiana. It's a grandma that played Tibia.
Okay.
Sadly, she passed away in 2023, but
Mm,
she was very known by the community here in Brazil. So gaming
wow.
is for every ages here in Brazil. So all the people
Yeah.
play this kind of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, I noticed too when I was there. It's at least in terms of age, it's more accepted. Like if you play video games, but it's still in Christian circles. People can say like, "Why are you doing that? You're wasting your time." But like in the general population, people don't see it as a waste of time. They see it as like a way of bringing people together. Right? Is that pretty common in Brazil?
No, for here it's the same. It's like you, the Christian people
Okay.
just see like a weird thing, and praise Jesus. I'm on a church today that understand the ministry. They support me a lot, and
Yeah.
we are having a missionary conference now, and we have a standee with like PS4, PS5, VR. Everything was there, and
Yeah.
everyone knows the ministry and see like an opportunity, but it's a very weird thing for the people in general,
Yeah.
because I mean we need to work, we need to study, we had a lot of things to we have a lot of things to do, so the people just say that this is a waste of time. And some of them doesn't know about the esports and the opportunities like work, like jobs, not
Yeah.
only for entertainment or relational stuff or making bridges to the for the generations, but some people doesn't know nothing about the
Yeah, it can really
this
be a
new world.
career, right? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, and I will say too, like, the I want to be careful I say this because I want to really respect that. Like, I understand why some people in church, especially people that are not of like my generation, our generation, and younger, because it from the outside, like it does look like a waste of time. Like it does look like so if people aren't a gamer, I get why they're hesitant and they want to push us toward Jesus and toward Christ. And I used to take that personally. You know, I used to think like, oh, why are they so concerned about me playing video? But it's because they want to spur me on toward love. They want to spur me on toward Jesus. So when people say like, video games are a waste of time, I don't take it personal anymore. I try to understand, why do you think that? And can I please help reshape the way you see that? So that's what I hope this podcast does, is it gives people stories and examples of like, one of our parents of one of our students said video games are more than a waste of time. And it just means like they're more valuable than just being a waste of time. And I love that. So I'll ask one more question about when we met, because I just think it's funny. We had some good stories in Brazil, just some good times of us just having fun. But I think the one thing I'll ask is like, when you first saw me, when you first meet this like white dude, gamer, long hair coming in, like I think we were at the arena, right? And then you joined us later. I was so excited to meet you, but like, what was that like? You know what I mean? Like meeting me for the first time. Like, I'm pretty American, right? Like I'm kind of stuck in my ways, but were there any like red flags? Like, dude, this weirdo dude showing up out of nowhere in Brazil. First
No, for
impressions.
me, for me, it's like oh, I'm meeting a guy that seems like me. You like me. I
Yeah,
can see it's
yeah.
like a mirror. I mean, I'm black, you are white, but
Yeah. Wait, what?
we
No.
both of us both of us have like beautiful hairs.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
that
I
time I
like.
was using like black power hair, but
Yeah, dude, you did. It was so cool.
yeah, but not. I just see someone that it's really like me, really understand me. I
Yeah.
I know. We were with Giselle with us, our friend,
Yeah.
and yeah, but he looks different because he's
Yeah.
like another type of guy trying to understand video games. And but it's different. The heart's the same, but
Yeah.
like the first
Yeah. Yeah.
impression is different. But in
Yeah.
your case, it's not. And even since the first words, we just begin friends because we like the same kind of things. Like
Yeah.
watch the same animes, play the same video
You play
games.
guitar?
We
Like
share
I have my.
guitar.
Yeah. 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 So funny. Yours is back there, and oh, that's
Yeah,
so
yeah.
cool, man. That's what I remember. I remember thinking like, dude, this is like the black version of me. This is crazy. Like, this is cool. Oh, that's so fun. Well, dude, I'm excited to get into the story. The reason I should be on this podcast specifically is, a lot of times, we can get in this habit of talking about video game ministry in a way that like other gamers understand. So like if I told you a story about like something that happened at an event, you would be like, that's so cool. If I told like Bubba from Love Thy Nerd the same story, that's so cool. But if I tell a pastor from my church who does not play video games, he'll be like, I don't get it. I don't get it. So I am looking for stories that help people that are not gamers hear the story and say, oh, I get it. That is so cool. And the stories that you have with this kind of process you created with your team, you're going to tell us about it in just a second. But every time I've heard you talk about this process, I've just thought that is so easy to understand. Like if you're a gamer, you're not a gamer, it is so easy to be like, wow, that's how it impacts lives. You know, people may not understand, why do streamers go live every day and just play games with people? Why do people jump in Discord and for hours just play games with students? Like, where's the impact in that? And what I love about this story is I think, and guys, get ready to hear it. We're going to talk about a little bit about what ganks are, why you call it ganks, you know, tell us about the origin of it. And then eventually we're going to hear a very specific story of when this process made a real impact on somebody's life. So let's start with do you call it a gank? Do you call it ganks? What do you call it? How did this whole thing start?
Yeah, we just call ganks because of the Brazilian accent, but it's ganks. I think this is a slang for they came from RPGs like League of Legends, Dota, and other stuff. I don't know another like a MOBA. It's called MOBA. Yeah, but gank is when you are in a place in the map, you know, and you are suffering with your enemy in the other side, and a friend that is from another place in the map, they just come and help you. They support you to win the match, that fight. So this is called a gank on League of Legends and Dota and another games like this. So Brazilian people like to take English words or English slangs and put in different places, you know?
Yeah.
So here in Brazil, when I streamer with a lot of views, they just find someone that needs some support in live stream. They just begin to do live streams and there is no one watching. They just put everyone on this place and we call this gank. I know for people that are familiar with gaming, we call it this raid. It's raid?
Yeah, raid. Yep.
Raid. It's a raid on Twitch, but raid is a little bit different. Raid is just like you can send from your channel, your audience to another live stream. So that guy know that, oh, this guy came from that channel. But the ganks, we can do, for example, on Discord. We just reunite we just gather in the Discord, everyone, and you say, we're gonna go to this channel, so everyone go at the same time at the channel. So this is the gank. This is the award came from a slang from the MOBA games, and you just chant a little bit to do in the live streams.
Let me summarize what it is for people that don't know gaming at all, or for people that maybe are having a hard time understanding. Let me make sure I got it right. So when you're live streaming, if I was live streaming and you were live streaming, I'm done live streaming and I have 10 people watching me. I can take that audience, send it to you, and we can kind of like hand off. And on Twitch, they call this a raid, right? So, hey, Zeefels, that's my gamer tag, are going to go watch Nandi. They're going to watch him live stream. That's very common in Twitch. It's a nice thing to do, but it is kind of like a way to promote your channel. It's a way to say like, hey, Zeefels is now raiding you or hosting you. And that's a good thing. What a gank is, you can do it that way, but what you can also do with a gank is basically just say, hey, you see that person on Twitch who only has like 3-4 viewers? We're going to get 30-40 of us, and we're going to go jump in his channel and just be like, hey, you're getting ganked. You're just going to go celebrate that person and talk to that person, sometimes for a couple hours, right? And this person is like, they've only ever streamed for like 2 or 3 people, 4 people. Now they have this massive audience. So they're blessed because I'm actually like people are watching me. And then you guys are blessed because you get to see the joy of this person. So I want to explain one more thing and this word gank. Do you play any video games where ganking is a mechanic? Like, because you play mostly fighting games, right? But do you play any of those games?
Yeah. Yeah, just League of Legends. League
Okay.
of Legends when I play, and also in mobile I play Honor of Kings, Honor of the Kings.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
Cool.
so there is the
So
same mechanical. Yeah,
yeah, I love the name of what you call this, because gamers hear it and they're like, "Oh, I know what a gank is. That's cool." Like, but for a non-gamer, it is like you're fighting alone, right? And like this is such a good parallel to life, because it's like you're fighting alone, but you have friends that see that you're struggling. So they say, "I'm gonna come help you," and they jump into your arena and they just fight with you and for you, and it's like they're in your corner. And I think maybe let's talk about that for a second before we share some examples of this gank you guys do. But Ernandes, something where you and I definitely relate is, especially early on in this, like this, when you're doing a unique ministry, like video game ministry, you can feel like you're alone in this lane, like fighting, and you just need other people. So like, I get a little emotional when I say this, but like when you came into my life, it felt like you were ganking for me. You know what I mean? Like, and I hope when I came into your life, it felt like we're ganking for each other. Like when I find people in ministry that can jump into my lane and just be there with me, I just like, oh, I'm not alone. This feels so good. So talk about that a little bit. Like, are there times like in your life as you do video game ministry in Brazil? I know video games are very popular in Brazil, but like, how important is it that we know that there are people that are willing to jump into our lane and be with us?
yeah. Especially because people that thinking about video game ministry, they just try to. This is a place for the people that is addicted to video games and find some excuse to play video games and also be Christian, you know. So
Yeah.
sometimes I struggle a lot with this, and this is very a sad thing because I feel like, oh, I need more volunteers, people that understand that is a ministry with game is not only about one game, but people that love Jesus and want to share the gospel with another guys that play whatever, any kind of game, you know, because the most part of the people, they for example, I like to play Street Fighter, so I only gonna do ministry with Street Fighter. So
Yeah.
this would be one thing, but I know that God is calling people that want to work with people that love video games, and we cannot just do one niche. We need to to do a
Yeah.
lot of stuff because we live in a city that there was a lot of people. In a group of 10 young people, we're gonna have a lot of people playing different games. So but it's very fun when we had someone with us that understand the ministry, the heart of the ministry, you know, and say just I love young people, I love people that play video games. I say a lot of about young people because my job is more with young people than other groups of other age, you know. So I love when I find someone that have the same heart. People that time I going to be with you and we're gonna work together, join strengths, and we can do this because it's for the kingdom. Doesn't
Mm.
matter if it was like a game that I don't like, but I love the people more than game. I love Jesus
Yeah.
more than anything. So I love when I find some people. And last week I found maybe two guys with this kind of heart, and they are helping me a lot
Mm.
with ministry, and I'm able to just doing less jobs, you know. I can put on their
Yeah.
hands some stuff and share the
Oh,
they
that's
have
so
and
cool.
the shoulders.
That's so cool. And I think this like idea of ganks, it applies in every area of life, not just video games, right? It's like when you have your first kid, you know, or when your kid is sick, right? Like you went through that recently, and I went
Oh,
through that a little bit last year, and it's like when people come into your life and help you and support you, like that's the heart behind gank. Now there's one more piece of this. It is we're using this term gank, right? Like I'm going to come help you, or you're going to come help me. We as followers of Christ, we can do that for people that don't know Jesus. We can show up in their lane in life and just help them. And they say,
yeah.
why are you going out of your lane to help me in my lane? And that's where we get to say, because Jesus came out of his lane to help us, right?
Yeah.
Like, whoo, you know, like that's real. So talk about that for a second. Does that influence like who you might gank, right? You're not doing these ganks just for Christians. Most of the time
Yeah.
you're doing it for non-Christians, right? Or you don't
Yeah,
know where their
this
faith is. Yeah.
we don't know. But the fun thing about the gangs is because I mean we need to preach the gospel. Preach the gospel is the biggest part of the gang, but there is this kind of stuff that we really care about that people, that streamer. Let me explain this better. It's because sometimes when we think about to preach the gospel, it's like I wanna to convert this guy to my religion. This
Yeah.
when we are talking about outreach, and the gospel is not about to convert the guy to that religion, to turn the guy, turn
To
the
convince
faith,
them. Yeah.
convince them. It's not about this. It's about to turn to Jesus, turn the eyes to Jesus. So we try to do this with different things. For example, when we are on a live stream and we saw some needs of that people, if we can do something, we do. So we can just
Yes.
support them. We can do, for example,
They need like a new
overlays.
graphic. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
you can do this. We already did this in the past, like doing overlays, like transition screen, that beautiful stuff, and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
They like
Boop,
this,
boop, boop,
so we
boop.
can
Yeah.
support with different things. It's like the same thing we do on the schools here in Brazil. Sometimes we just paint walls, we build things, we fix some things, so we can do some things that doesn't seems like, oh, this is not a outreach thing, this is not a Christian thing, but this is who we are, so we can support. And through this we have more space to share about the why we do this, why are you doing this. It's because we are follower of Jesus, the Holy Spirit live in us, so they are send us to preach, to do something, and to support the people.
Yeah.
So there is more things about the gangs than just a
Right.
spiritual part. For me,
Yeah.
everything is a spirit. I just trying to
Yes.
explain that
That's so
it's not
good.
only about to just say about the Bible and preach. This is the biggest part, but there is more, and the
Yeah.
follow up is so you can do more.
I like what you're saying. Like for me, the whole thing is a spiritual journey, right? But for the other person, they may not hear the name Jesus until like maybe an hour in, or maybe even the next day or a week later. Like, why did you guys do that? Well, bro, like again, Jesus did that for us. He came out of his lane to help us, to gank for us, right? And we're doing the same thing for him. So that's so cool. So I think like I want to point out one more thing, that it's structured, right? You're not just going in and saying like, hey, 40 people, just everyone go drop a Bible verse, Yeah. How do you do that? Do you have like a few people that do the main conversation? Everyone else just focuses on the game. Like, is there a training for that? Like how do you prepare people for a gank when you do it?
Yeah. The principles are so like easy to do. Ganks is just, but we had like maybe 20 to 30 minutes like a training, just explain how the thing will goes. So we have a gather in the Discord or Zoom or whatever, and we just pray maybe 1 hour before. And our praise we say, Holy Spirit, please send us to a gamer of peace. I can say this.
Yes. Yeah.
And
We
a
love
guy
using that
that,
term.
yeah,
Yeah.
a guy that are open to the gospel. So we trust you, and you know that when you push the search bar, we're gonna see. And we just put the filters like less viewers in the
Yeah.
Twitch.
So somebody,
Yeah.
because somebody that has like 10,000 viewers, they don't need this. Somebody who is
Yeah.
streaming, but they have like 2 or 3 or 4 viewers, or even
Yeah,
one.
and also and also a guy that 10,000 viewers. If you type something in the chat, he will not see
Yeah,
what
he
you are
will not
talking
see.
about.
Yeah.
So this is one of the things. So we try to explain. So explain. We have a training. Yes, we just take the people on Zoom and for maybe 30 minutes, 1 hour, and talk about, just ask questions and whatever. But we just schedule the day of the gank like 1 month before. Just people
Cool.
can prepare themselves and go into the meeting, and we pray, as I told you. And after this, we just make one of the guys or two, whatever, just made a research, and we try to have some like principles to took the live stream.
Yeah.
Like we cannot just gank everyone, because there is some very bad live streams on Twitch nowadays, and we have like people under 18 with us, so we try to be very selective about this. And
Now
we
those
go
people that make that make unhealthy streams, they need this too, but you need to make sure the right people are in the room, right? Like you need to make sure that if you're going to do this ministry to somebody who's maybe streaming something inappropriate, like they still need love, but think about who you're bringing with you. Yeah, that's good. That's wise.
But but it's not a barrier. I know if you have like people that understand this, more like adults, and you can just do, okay, it's not a barrier, it's just our case. And so we go everyone in the same at the same time, and they will say gank, whatever. If you are from a Baptist church for blah blah blah, you can say gank, Baptist church gank.
Yeah.
So we say we can
so
say
we
we
would say
can
like
put
satellite gaming gank or
gank, whatever.
Okay, cool.
Because but this is a Brazilian thing. When we give a gank on someone, we say gank do Nandi in Portuguese, or Nandi gank. That's the reason. Yeah, we just type this on chat. So we need to say whatever the kind of slang you use on your country, but you say gank, and just begin to flood the chat, you know? There is no one typing. Maybe the mom of the guy.
Yeah, just one. And suddenly, what's happening? Did I get raided? And you say, no, you're getting ganked. Like, we're not promoting our channel. We're here to celebrate you. Like, that's cool. And again, rating is great, but this is different. It's so cool.
So the fun thing is because some people just was so shocked about this. Why? 4 people. One time we had like 50. 50?
50. Yeah.
50 people on the same stream, and the guys shut down the stream because they thought that was a virus.
Oh no!
Yeah, this is a fun thing that happened. But we had some people so surprised. Some people just begin to cry at the moment. I mean, we are doing ganks for maybe 2 years, maybe now. Almost 2 years. So we had some experienced people crying, and because we understand that we need to earn the right to be heard, you know? So when the people just see, what are you doing here? And sometimes we doesn't need to wait more time. We just can say, we are praying about you, and they will say to the Holy Spirit to send to someone that need our gank. And we are here to tell you a good message for you. We don't say preach. We don't use the like church slangs, you know. We just say the language of the gaming people. And the guy begin to cry and say, "Oh, that's exactly thing that I want to hear." And that's very fun when this kind of stuff happens. So that's the first structure. And after maybe 50 minutes, I mean, when you are just, I'm gonna go back a little bit. When you go to a stream that the guy just shocked, but they are playing the game, maybe I'm gonna say League of Legends, and we just talk,
right?
Yeah, we just talk about the game for the first 15, 20 minutes, talking about the game. Oh, I like to play like with this character. I like to play in the mid lane. You can just say some things about the game. Or if you doesn't know nothing about the game, tell things about life. How old are you? For how long you are doing live streams? So talking about life, how are you today?
Or ask about stuff they have in their background, like, oh, like if I see you have like a drum set, do you play music? You just that's cool.
And also a lot of streamers has a lot of RGB things, you know, colors, and you can say about this. You just try to find a way to interact with him, maybe the shirt or something like that. And after this time, I mean, if you have like 50 people, we set it before that 4 people will begin to chat like specifically about the gospel. The other guys just stop. They stay on the live streams to make the audience, but they stop typing to not flood, so the streamer can pay attention on what this guy has said. So these guys just begin to talking about the gospel. My way of approach is to say, I was praying about you, and we are a group, a Christian group, and we are here to say a message sent by God to someone that really need today. This is my kind of approach. So I begin after this. I feel the mood of the people, and I begin to say about the gospel and say, the points.
I like that you say you feel the mood of the people, right? Because somebody might not be ready for that, right? You mentioned
Yeah.
gamer of peace. That's Luke chapter 10 when Jesus said, "Go door to door in search of the people that are willing to hear what we have to say." And he also so he said, when you find a house and you extend your peace to it, and your peace is welcomed, stay there, right? But there might be people who like they don't want to hear it. And
A lot.
a lot of people that don't want to, right? And I think that Luke chapter 10, it just reaffirms us that, like, yes, we want to serve everyone. Not everyone wants to be served. Jesus also, there's times where he says, he who has an ear, let him listen. The scripture talks about not throwing our pearls to the swine, right? Obviously, we can get into what that means, but the bottom line is not everyone wants to hear, but when you feel the mood and you're like, this person is ready for this, and you share, some beautiful things can happen. So what I'd like to do now is I asked you about a story before we went live, like a very specific one, and the smile on your face is like you're ready for it. So now walk through with us this story, and I might ask questions, but I just want to hear you tell this story, the one that you shared with me before we went live, of a time where you did this and it really impacted someone's life, and talk about how it impacted the streamer, how it impacted you, your other leaders, your students. Like when a life is impacted by the gospel, I think it affects more than just that one person. So go ahead, man. It's story time. Tell us your story, bro.
We had incredible stories about the gangs. We had like a lot of people crying on live streams. Some people just accepting Jesus, and we had, for example, one church. I don't know where the city of this church, and the guys are just singing on live stream. They just invite the streamer to Discord and begin to pray with them, and a lot of experience. But I will say one history about myself when I was with my team doing a gank, and there was this guy, his name Mineirinho, it's a Brazilian slang. So because he was from Minas Gerais, I stayed here in Brazil. And this guy is a Apex Legends streamer. It's a short gaming, a FPS gaming. So you play with like legends. It's like
different characters.
Yeah, different characters. We call it this legend. So I know this game because in that time I was playing Apex Legends Mobile. Sadly, they closed the server. But I know the game very well, so the legend. So I interact with him and speak about the game. And so they was very open about the conversation. So we begin speak about the gospel. As I told you before, we had like 1 hour before praying, and we say to the Holy Spirit to send to someone that really needs. And I just say to him about what we are doing there in that live stream.
And how long into the live stream was that? Was that like right away? I know you said it's different every
just
time.
one, because Apex Legends like 30 minutes, 40 minutes the round. I don't remember how much, but like a half hour of
like when he's gaming, you're focused on the game, right? You're not trying to distract him, you're trying to support him. So so he's playing Apex, getting in the zone, game ends. Is this now your opportunity to share the gospel with him?
I will wait for the time when the match just end up. So we begin. We want to say you something, and we had the attention. So he just put the cam frame in the big size, so we can just see him. So we begin the conversation, then talking about the gospel, and he was so open to hear about Jesus, and we had an incredible opportunity to talk about sin. Because this is one of the things that the people just get wrong, especially when they are not like Christians. They think that everyone is good.
Right?
We are all good. We are all go to heaven, and we had the incredible opportunity to speak about Jesus and about the salvation. And this guy just accept Jesus, and this was so cool because we had a follow up with him. And
you don't want to just leave it, right? You want to come back, and
we come back in the weeks forward a lot, and they stopped to do live streams. But when he was doing live streams, we are there. Some of us all the time just pop up in the live stream and say hi, and we are from the group that was today. Oh, you are here. So it was so cool because we begin a conversation through Instagram, and we get his address, and they will send to him a Bible. One people of my team, not me, send a Bible to him, a big Bible. It's a white Bible, and inside the Bible they put a letter. They put it a letter, write it by hand. You say
By
this?
hand. Yeah, yeah.
By
Yep.
hand.
That's
Yeah.
good. Yeah.
Because nowadays it's everything is typed, but they say that I need to send by hand because it should be more special, you know?
Yeah.
So
That's
they
good.
just send the letter. And the fun thing, this guy just opened a live stream to do an unbox of the gift, you
Oh, so
know?
he gets it in the
And
mail. He goes live and he's like, I'm going to open this on
yeah,
stream.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and he opened the box and the Bible. He was so excited about this. I never had a Bible in my life. This is the first time that I received a letter and by hand, and he
Yeah.
was so happy about this and called his mom and his grandmother, and he say, I need to
Dude,
put in a higher place because my mom will gonna take for her.
for herself.
This is my Bible.
Oh, that's so
So
cool.
this is an incredible story. So we had a lot of this. We are doing gangs like for 2 years and something. I don't remember, but this was so fun because we have like a lot of experience like that. We follow up opportunities to outreach, to preach the gospel, and also to put some people that they are not familiar to video games. This girl that sent the Bible and the letter, she never played nothing, even Candy Crush or that snake game, you know, the cellophane,
Yeah.
the snake game, nothing,
Never. This is the girl
never.
who wrote the letter.
Yes, yes.
So you're telling me this is because this I want to re-say this because this is so important for people to hear. You can still be a blessing to gamers even if you don't play at all. Like you can still
Yes.
be a part of this journey,
Yes.
right? Yeah.
Yeah, what this one thing that can answer this question is the way that Genk was created. Because Genk was created because of a need on the pandemic. In the pandemic, we
Yeah.
had a training, and we had like 100 and something, like
Yeah.
training, people training in a closed place. And we need the practical thing. How can you put the people to practice outreach without go outside? Because
Yeah.
yeah, so can you imagine, we had a lot of people, some of them gamers, okay, but it was young leaders. So there's a lot of young leaders
They
not
want to
familiar with
serve, but
video
how do
games.
I do that? Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and also young leaders that had that weird face, you know, video games.
Yeah, yeah,
So
video
we
games.
had this, yeah. So we think we just stay in a group with
Oh,
my friends and me, and just think now, how can we do this? And we can do one thing. We can go to a live stream, and we just, and someone just came with another ideas, and finally I came with this. Oh, this is a gank. We're gonna call this gank,
yeah.
and
That's so
so
good.
so there's a lot of people, not only gamers, but people that love Jesus and want to see people meeting Jesus and knowing Jesus, sorry, and giving their lives to Jesus. So there's, if you are a follower of Jesus, and if you love people, and if you want to outreach, you want to preach the gospel, you can do gangs. You don't need to be a
Yeah.
gamer.
Amen. Yeah. And you can do it by yourself if you want. You know, like you don't need to have, obviously you can have a big group, but if just one day if you want to practice how to serve gamers effectively online and minister to them, try it. Go into Twitch, go all the way down to the bottom. Somebody who has 1-2 viewers, just show up in their stream, be a blessing to them, love them, and encourage them, and pray about the right opportunity and timing
Yeah.
to share Jesus with them. Yeah.
Yeah, one thing that is really cool about the gangs is, especially about this new generation, they are really shy about to share the gospel, you know, especially the teenagers. They just, for some reason, and I just tell gank is a good opportunity to make them to share the gospel because they just need to type.
Yeah.
I mean, you are like hiding in your screen. You are not showing up. You just begin to type something. So it's a very a good opportunity to young people, especially on the church. If you want to teach your like teenagers and young people to how can you do evangelism, so you can just try ganks. It's opportunity to them
Right,
to
yeah.
just type. Yeah.
That's so cool. Well, one thing that I talked about, let me actually say this first. Thank you for sharing the story, because it's one thing, again, for us to hear like, oh, video games can be used for good. Yeah, like, woohoo, they're awesome. It's another thing to hear a very specific story of like where it happens and people can go, wow, I get it. And so my hope and prayer is that as people hear this story, they do understand and they take a little bit more serious what it is that we're doing, because there's so many people that play video games and there's so many people that play video games that never hear the gospel. They don't leave their house, and we can shame them for never leaving their house, or we can meet them where they are and jump into their stream, and we can be a blessing to them. So I love that. But Ernandes, something that I wanted to point out is we talked about this before we went live, and we've talked about this before. I remember you told me what a gank was back when we were at VCT, right? Like 2 years ago, something like that. And I remember very clearly saying, man, someday we need to make a training for people on how to do this. So I don't want to make any crazy big promises, but I do want to say that this is something that's on our radar. If there's a way that we can help create a training for this, I think it's safe to say, hopefully soon we will have something available that if there's like a PDF or a presentation or a training they can take, we really want to give people the opportunity to learn how to do this well. So I'm going to say for now, people can reach out to us, reach out to me, to you. We'll make sure that people that reach out, if they're like, how do we do a gank? We want to practice this. I'll connect them with you, and let's be prayerful, you and I, about how we can really build a training on ganks that can really help and serve people. And it would be so cool to get stories of just like yours, but all around the world, of people doing ganks. So, dude, I really love you sharing that story. Before we wrap it up, I just want to say, is there anything else that's on your heart that you want to share, either just to encourage people maybe that do video game ministry, or maybe to speak to like pastors or people that are in church that love Jesus, but maybe still don't get it? Is there any like encouragement that you would share with people wherever they might find themselves in video game ministry?
Yeah. So one thing that I didn't mention, that I worked as a pastor in 10 years ago. I was planting a church on countryside, and I was suffering a lot with this because I tried to preach the gospel to the people, and I just that time I was not able to reach people from like young age, young people. So I just trying to find some ways to put the people to study the Bible, and in that time I didn't know that young ministries, or I didn't know. I just was there after the seminary. I just hit there and trying to do the best as I could. So I totally understand if you feel like weird about the things that you are doing now. But I should say that we have a huge opportunity to reach a lot of people. And now we have like the Olympics, and we're going to have in the future the gaming Olympics. It's already like accepted, and the Olympic Committee just accepted. So we're going to have, now we are having like the World Cup of esports. So we have a lot of opportunities, and the church should be on these places, because otherwise we're going to lose a lot of people. So we had like incredible opportunity, even in your community, in your own community, but you should think in like a big steps, maybe in the future we can have a lot of esports players in professional way, but with all the heart turned to Jesus, and they point to Jesus. And I would love to see one day one Christian gamer just saying, big screen saying, I'm a follower of Jesus, and I'm here because of him. So that's so good. That's my dream. That's my prayer.
Yeah, I think that's a beautiful prayer. I think there are a lot of gamers in the esports world that get on that stage, and then they take the mic and they say just toxic, awful, just hurtful things. And it's like, on the stage in front of millions of people, what if there was somebody who was just brought up in Christ that is able to get on that stage and just say, like, they don't have to be weird about it, but just enough to let people know, like, hey, I'm here because of Jesus Christ. Like, oh man, that is just a beautiful thing. So I'm with you, Ernandes. Let's find that person and let's invest in them and pour in them. I'm decent at Halo, but I'm not going to be that guy. It won't be me, but I hope that I can help influence people that play a role in the lives of individuals that do get that experience. So Ernandes, man, I love you, brother. Like I'm so grateful that you chose to be on this podcast. I hope that people are blessed by your story. I hope that when it to your Brazilian friends, when it translates me, I hope the text can keep up, so people can read it in Portuguese. But dude, any last words, brother?
No, I'm thanks for having me and to invite me to this. So I love you so much, brother. I miss you so much. I hope to see you soon.
Yes, it will happen, man.
So yeah,
yeah. Thanks, buddy. I appreciate you very much. Thanks for joining us as we grow the library of satellite stories. We'll see you next time, and don't forget, Jesus loves you, nerds.